Is Sylvia Gedge, and I am the CEO of ScriptString AI. And I'm joining you today from Burlington, Ontario. So really, really nice to meet you all. Our platform is called ScriptString AI, and it's a sustainability software for, I don't want to say real estate, so facilities management. And ultimately, our goal is to eliminate spreadsheets, monitor emissions, and help folks in facility management and real estate mitigate governance risk. So the journey to net zero, and we're hearing sort of the headlines every day, what's coming down the pipe, but we know to be able to really measure the traction and to the extent of the progress that we're making, it really comes to with monitoring. And if you don't measure, you're not going to meet those mandates. So our goal as an organization is to make it super easy for all the business users to integrate sustainability practices into their existing practices, and sort of streamline that process of adopting greenhouse emission monitoring. This is just sort of a few headlines. Just over the past week, sort of SEC rolled things out. We heard California headlines. We're hearing things from Canadian banks, so it's happening literally sort of like every day there is something new. So what we know is, working with our clients, there is primary, three sort of major roadblocks when it comes to measuring greenhouse emissions, and just being able to comply with the reporting. It's the data. Like the data, it's sort of the common theme all across. It's the collection of the data from the different systems, transformation, and applying the different formulas and calculations. And then on top of that, it's the ever-changing regulatory requirements that it's really hard to keep up. So what we sort of, what we do is we want to make this sort of super simple, but at the same time, we do focus on the ROI, what this means for the business. So it's about really saving the folks time on measuring carbon emissions, saving them money, reducing the analyst hours and the manual data collection and consolidation of that. And then foremost, as well, mitigating the risk as it applies to sustainability and ESG and carbon compliance. So what we have developed through our platform, it's our patented technology, and it's AI-driven technology that really speeds up and accelerates the reporting, the end-to-the-end reporting. And it's by leveraging and training the models so they know exactly what that data is, regardless of the format, and ultimately with the outputs of dashboards and regulatory reporting. Here's just sort of a quick client use case to be able to visualize what we do. We worked with a facility management company. We went directly across various utilities that for energy and for waste consumption that they had. And we collected the information related to energy and translated that to greenhouse emissions, automated the end-to-end process, which reduced annual savings of over 80% for this organization. Here's just a couple of snapshots and dashboards of what the tool looks like. So there is a number of solutions within the tool. We have automated onboarding, and it's a survey-like experience. A lot of transformation. We have an ESG baseline assessment. We recognize to kind of flag it to our users very quickly where there might be opportunities for improvement. We flag it red, green, orange, and then can start sort of, making those actions related to, what the information and the data is telling them. It's fully automated, sort of greenhouse emissions performance monitoring. So, you start with a baseline assessment, but it's really about tracking it on a regular basis and building into the existing process. So we do that. We build it into their reporting processes. And here's just another sort of a snapshot of what the tool looks like. The market size, the ESG global reporting software market size, it's 0.7 billion in 2022, and it's expected to grow. And even those numbers are probably not doing it justice with all the regulatory requirements that are coming up every day. Here's a quick snapshot of our timeline. We started incorporated in 2019. And I'm going to focus on right now kind of more the current. We are in the process of fundraising, and the money really that we plan to fundraise, it's going to support the growth that we anticipate. This will result in hiring somebody who is going to be leading the growth team. And we're anticipating that for January, with onboarding 65 new customers in 2024 and 130 by 2025. As well, we did sort of later in the year, we have joined Siemens in their accelerator program as part of their platform, which we're super excited. And we're going to also be hiring a Siemens channel manager to really expand the market reach and the opportunities within their global marketplace. Our business model, it's we have existing traction, existing customers, leveraging our tool in sustainability and greenhouse emissions, which we're super excited. The focus is mid-market real estate and facilities management currently, but with the expansion into other markets as we grow. Pricing is software as a service, which the automation level and connecting to the various utilities and tools, we start at 2,500 plus one-time recurring. Plus, there is additional opportunities for growing that revenue based on additional seats and integrations. Average customer will be paying approximately 50 plus annually, depending on how many integrations and users. Our competitors, there's definitely competitors. Sustainability has been around for some time. So primary one, it's Metrio, Measurable, which is a big one specifically in the real estate space, and Visto, where we differentiate and where we really complement sort of what the facility management operations folks are doing. It's being able to connect to the variety of the tools and really be that one-stop shop versus just another application. We bring it all together in a very seamless way and integrate with not just the application, but also IoT devices and edge devices that would be in variety of different facilities and buildings across their portfolio. Our traction last year, the revenue projection, so the current year projections are at 580 with our current monthly net burn of 15,000. The 2024 revenue projections are at 1.677, and this is a split 80-20 between the monthly recurring and the services. And as I mentioned earlier, sort of our plans and sales targets for next year, it's acquisition of 65 new customers through acquiring 25 qualified leads at a 30% conversion. And we see this as a conservative plan. Our executive team, so CEO and my background is in finance, transformation, and I've worked with a number of SaaS companies across and through different levels of due diligence. As well on the team, we have our Chief Technology Officer who has served as a senior leader across Amazon and Facebook. But I think most importantly, he was a primary person who was involved in building out Resolver, which was a GRC platform that led into an acquisition, I want to say this year or last year, for quite some sizable sum of money. As well, Sheldon Sawchuk is our Chief Product Officer, and he's worked at a variety of mid-sized to large enterprises where his focus has been building SaaS software that is with the focus on the users and making it very easy for business users, and as well has worked through acquisitions and exits as well. Here's just a snapshot of some of our partners and customers. And my ask, we are seeking 1.5 million, primarily to accelerate our business growth, to invest in the areas of sales and marketing and a little bit of the research development to help us grow and to really accelerate what we are doing with building out the team. And that's it. Thank you.
Great job. We are just over 9 minutes, so you got a little bit more time, which is good, but quick, snappy, and to the point. are we ready to kick things off in terms of feedback? Do we have any? Yeah, okay, perfect. Marissa, why don't we start with you? I got a head nod.
Lesson learned. I'm not gonna do that again.
Yeah.
Great presentation, Sylvia. Very nice. You clearly articulate what the problem is and what you want to do about it. I had a couple of questions in relation. I like that you've got a SDG goal up there. That's very good. In terms of the IP, what is it that you patented? What portion of it? What is it really that got patented? Is it the software? Is it the logistics? Is it the what goes around? What goes in there?
So the IP is how we transform the data, regardless of what the format and where it's coming from. So it's really the discovery technology, how we transform. That's the whole process. That idea has been patented.
Okay. And so that I'm thinking that might be something that might be applicable more than just to do ESG monitoring for facilities management locations.
100%.
Okay. And you did say it in one of the slides that for now you're focusing on the facilities management, but later on you might, if you have time, touch on what would be next. What would be that next industry that you could and define what's in your patents, just so people know.
Okay.
In terms of the partnership that you have with Siemens, I wasn't clear if they were a customer or a partner. And then you had a slide with all your customers and partners. I'd like to see a differentiation between the customers and partners. Which ones are the solely customers? Which ones are the partners, and maybe partners and customers? So does that partnership lead you to other customers? Because you also talked about a head of growth for a specific, what does that mean? Is that head of R&D, head of sales?
Sales.
Okay.
Yeah. And just to clarify on the Siemens, it is our partner. And we have a joint go-to-market strategy. So it's us being able to collaborate with them and add their software, being able to leverage the hardware that they have, the edge devices, which have limitations of spreadsheets.
Okay. All right. So you would be working with them to acquire different customers. Is that right?
Within their ecosystem of customers. So they're trying to, they've built this platform of partners, and we're the first Canadian partner on their platform that provides sustainability solutions. And they're doing it to enable their existing customers. So it would be to penetrate that global marketplace of the customers that they have already acquired.
That's great. That really shows scale, right? And you've got a partner that can help you scale as well. That's wonderful. Competitors, like last question, the competitor slide, there were check marks for all scenario. Sorry, I'm sorry. ScriptString, sorry, just came off another call. But I didn't see what the competitors did. There were no check marks for them. They were all sort of X's. So how are they your competitors? Is it because they do a subset of what you do? There should be at least, it seems to me, there should be at least one where there's a check mark for them to see where it is they compete with you on. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that's all I got. A great presentation. Thanks.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you, Marissa. Why don't I invite Nina to give some feedback?
I love your enthusiasm, and I think your confidence comes through, which is really nice. We always tell companies that we don't invest in the company, we invest in the entrepreneur. So as much confidence as can come through is really important. I found that your slides, you moved really, really fast. You held my attention, which was great because my mind often wanders. So, but I did find that there was so much content on your slides that I couldn't read it fast enough with the speed you were. So it could be if some of that could be converted into charts or graphs of some sort, you could just get more information quickly by following along. Like specifically what comes to mind is you had the slide with the years of what you were doing. Like it could be if you had like some sort of chart that showed like the raise, the year, the raise, the amount, something like that. You just in one glance, you get more information. So that would be helpful, I think, for me. You list your raise, which is excellent. I would be interested to know what your burn rate is and how long you anticipate, like, the runway for that to last.
So the plan is for 24 months, sort of to be positive and move into. I feel like the last week I learned about the rule of 40. So it was recrunching the numbers with the aim to be EBITDA positive with the goal to reach the 40, and it's 24 months.
Okay. And the only other suggestion I have is on the slide with your executive team. Your picture's awesome. The other two are low res. Flip them out for better ones.
Okay.
Which is
Okay.
minutia, just optics.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Okay, Jim, your turn.
There we go. Sylvia, I want you to quickly flip through the slides. I have specific comments on specific slides. You can share
Sure.
again, please.
Yeah.
I'm going to be nitpicky. So I hope that's okay, because I think there are certain things that you can do to turn people off without even knowing you're doing it. And so I'm going to be nitpicky. So go back to the start at the beginning. Next one, that's good. Next one. That's good. Next one. Nothing. I'm okay with that one. Okay. I am anal about spelling, and sustainability is spelled wrong on this slide.
Oh.
And secondly, I don't know what LOT means, and I'll be blunt, I don't know what rule of 40 means either. So I guess you learned something that I don't even know. So anyway, but I don't know what LOT means. So I think you have to be really, really careful with acronyms. You know, GHG, most people know. ESG, everybody knows in 2023. GHG, you might even want to say the first time you say GHG, it means greenhouse gases, just to make sure, because I'm not sure everyone knows that yet. But LOT, I think, is something, you definitely want to make sure you spell out what that means, because you know what that means, and I don't know what that means. And if I don't know what that means, lots of other people are pitching to won't either.
It's IoT devices. But
so what's IoT mean?
Right. Yeah.
What kind of device do you mean? Does you mean do you mean laptops? Do you mean like use words that the business people will use, not the technical people, because you're selling to business people, you're not selling to techies. So an IoT device might be great if you're talking to the head of IT. It's not great if you're talking to an investor. Okay. Next slide. That's nothing here. I didn't see anything here. I'm just keep going. But I agree with Nina, there's so much data on this. I think you have to look at, often I find is that on this, especially in 10 minutes, you should be putting these sub bullets there, and those should be your talking points as opposed to having everything on the slide.
Okay.
So put less on the slide. You want to make sure the reader and listener can absorb something. So what is the most important thing that they absorb on the slide? If they're trying to read this while you're saying it, then they're not hearing you.
Okay.
Next. Oh, I found there was a giant leap on this slide that I didn't buy. So there's a leap between identification of issues and saving 80%. And so what I don't understand is how they use the data that you give them to save 80%. So I think you have to, you made a giant leap, but in my mind, if all you're doing is telling me what my issues are and what my GHG score is and energy consumption is, that doesn't save me any money. That just tells me my status quo. So how do you help people, or what do they do with this data to save money? What did this client do to save money? Because this is, again, an awful lot of words, but yet a giant leap. Telling me what the data says versus telling me what the data means and what you're going to do about it are different. And so how does the client take that data and save money? That's really important to get that across. Like, how is the client going to save money based on the data that you provide for them? What are they going to do with it, and how are they going to use it to make their lives better? Because your cost is quite a bit. Like $2,500 a month is not cheap for an organization, and so they're going to make sure, they're going to really want to know they can do something with this data. Next.
Okay. Sorry.
Great. And I think that the next one I wanted to say is, again, some of this stuff is sort of nice, but you don't really, this is what you might put in something you sent people, but in your presentation, you kind of want to be focusing on you want to be focusing on issues that the people can understand quickly. And so, you know, you want to take this quote from Brian Plum. A hard copy you might hand out later might have this whole thing, but your quote on a slide might have pick 5 words, you know, cut the amount of time or save this, you know, like,
Okay.
you know, and so it's more, it jumps out at people that people aren't going to read that.
Okay.
Especially when you do it the whole thing in 9 minutes. This is kind of, I thought these were good because they sort of give you some look and feel. It looks like you've developed some software that looks pretty good. So I was okay with these.
Okay.
And this is fine. Kind of expected. Okay, so what this doesn't tell me on here or on the next slide is, are you pre-revenue? Are you revenue? And I this is something I really agree with Marisa. If the next slide I think is your clients and partners.
Oops.
If there is a beta, the next one, keep going. Keep going. This. Oh, did you cover this slide? I think you went over it so quickly that I didn't even notice it. Anyway, so you have a little bit of revenue. So again, I'd be focusing on the next slide, I believe, after this, which is, oh, I have one comment on this. If there's related parties, tell people. It's my husband, it's my brother, I don't know, but you have the same last name. So just quickly say, you know, which one. It's clearly one or the other, but
Husband.
it's your husband. So just
It's
say
my
that.
husband. Yeah.
Just say it's your husband, just so it
Yeah.
just, you know, there's
Get it
nothing
out
wrong
of the
with a
way.
husband and wife forming a company, absolutely nothing wrong, but
Yeah.
don't make people guess.
Okay.
If the names are the same, just tell people, because the last thing people expect, or even if it, especially if have different last names, then it's worse. Then they find out later you're married and you don't know, they didn't know. So these are the kind of things. Just takes 2 seconds. It's my husband, just so you know, move on. Like, you know, it's not huge, but people want to know. It creates a slightly different dynamic when you're evaluating a company. But I mean, I'll tell you, Nina and I invested in a company that's owned by a husband and wife, and it's been one of our most attractive investments we've made in a startup so far. So, you know, there's nothing it's not going to turn people off, but they need to know. Okay. And then this here, this is where I really agree with Marisa. Partners are nice, but who are your customers, and what are you doing to make them? And you've probably heard this word already in Sheboot, sticky. How do you make them sticky? How do you turn this much revenue from company A into this much revenue? You can't see my hands, but a teeny bit to a lot in a customer. So once you get into a customer, how do you build that revenue? I think if you spend more time on the penetrating a customer and then building it, you will be more you'll be more successful in terms of pitching what you want to do.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Thank you.
It was a good presentation. I said in the beginning, I'm going to be picky because I know the whole point of these is to be helpful.
Yeah,
So-
no, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. That was really, really good feedback from all of you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Sylvia, just a word of encouragement. Jim and I were talking about it this week. From the pitch practices last year, it was amazing to see where people started and where they ended. Like it really, I see Marisa shaking her head. It was like from, you know, mediocre to fantastic, and like how they evolved. And I'm sure it takes like a lot of, you know, developing an outer thick skin, because you do throw all your energy into your company, obviously. So good luck. I look
Okay.
forward to getting to see it again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm gonna cut the recording for this one.